You bought the ticket on a Tuesday at a gas station you've never been to before. Not on purpose. Your regular station was out of lottery tickets. You drove 2 miles out of your way. You stood at the counter and said, 20 quick picks on Powerball. The clerk didn't look up. You paid $20. You got back in your car. You didn't check it until Friday. 3 days sitting in your apartment. You were on your couch after work and thought, I should check that ticket. You opened your phone. You went to the Powerball website. You entered the numbers. The screen went white. Winner. Below it, 597,430,122. You sat on your couch for 4 minutes without moving. You didn't scream. You didn't call anyone. You didn't move. You held the phone and stared at the number like it might change if you looked away. It didn't. You got up. You walked to your kitchen. You poured a glass of water. You drank it. You came back to the couch. You looked at the phone again. The number was still there. You picked up the actual ticket from your coffee table. You compared the numbers to the screen. They matched. Every single one. You did not tell anyone. This is the moment everything splits. Not in two directions, in infinite directions. Every life you could have lived from this point forward exists simultaneously in your head. Each one branches from the decision you're about to make in the next 72 hours. By 6 a.m., you'd made 3 different life plans. Plan 1. Tell your mother. She would be happy. She would tell her sister. Her sister would tell her church. By Monday, the church would know. By Wednesday, the neighborhood would know. By the end of the week, the local news would run the story. Local woman wins $600 million lottery. Your face attached to it. Everyone you've ever met would see it. You would become a person defined by the money. Plan 2. Tell nobody. Keep it completely secret. Claim the ticket through whatever legal structure allows anonymity. Invest the money quietly. Live your normal life. Keep your job. The freedom would be invisible. Only you would know. Plan 3. Tell one trusted person. Someone who could help you navigate without telling anyone else. You went through everyone you know. By 8 a.m., you concluded there was no such person. You decided on Plan 2. By noon, you'd contacted a financial advisor. You didn't tell him you won. You said you received an inheritance. He didn't flinch. You could claim anonymously depending on your state. You could set up a trust. The trust would claim the ticket. Your name would never appear in any public record. The cost was $80,000 in legal and financial fees. You would spend $80,000 to keep a secret worth $600 million. It was the cheapest purchase of your life. You signed the paperwork digitally. The claim would take 10 days. By next Friday, you would have $600 million in accounts under the name of a trust with a generic legal name that revealed nothing. You went back to work on Monday like nothing happened. At the moment you decided to tell no one, the isolation became permanent. You couldn't undo it. Every person you didn't tell was a person who would never know. Every conversation from this point forward was a conversation where you were lying by omission. The lie became the default state of all interaction. Your coworker asked how your weekend was. You said it was fine. You went to the grocery store. You bought the same things you always buy: milk, bread, rice, beans. The food tasted the same. Your apartment looked the same. Your job felt the same. But something had changed. You were aware of every single interaction as a performance. You were playing the role of yourself. The real you was invisible. You were pretending to be the person who doesn't have $600 million. The performance was perfect because the person you were pretending to be was who you actually were 10 days ago. You just had to keep pretending he still existed. Your friend texted asking if you wanted drinks. You said yes. You sat in a bar with 3 people you've known for 5 years and listened to them complain about money. One asked for a raise. Another pushed back vacation. The third was considering a second job. You listened. You nodded. You didn't offer to pay for their drinks. You didn't mention that you could buy the bar. You sat there and absorbed their financial anxiety and said nothing. This is what the rest of your life will feel like. Your mother called. You answered. She said she missed you. You said you missed her too. She asked what was new. You said, nothing much. Work's the same. Everything's normal. She asked if you'd come over for dinner. You said next Sunday. You hung up and realized you'd lied to your mother. The lie was the default. The truth was now something you had to actively conceal. The distance between you and everyone you love had just become infinite. The money hit the account on a Friday afternoon. The balance read $597,430,122. You stared at it. The number was too large to comprehend. It belonged to governments. It belonged to corporations. It didn't belong in a personal bank account. But it did. You went to work on Monday. Your salary is $65,000 a year. Your job would take 9,000 years to earn what you have now. 9,000 years of work. Everyone you know would be dead. Their descendants would be dead. And you still wouldn't have earned this money. Your manager asked you to take on a new project. You said yes. You had to pretend it mattered. The lies were accumulating. Your sister called. She said she was having financial problems. She asked if you could lend her $10,000. You have $597 million. You could give her $1 million. You could solve every financial problem she will ever have. You said you didn't have $10,000 right now. You lied to your sister while in possession of $597 million. She said okay. She understood. She thanked you anyway. You said you were sorry. You got off the phone and felt shame. But shame requires the possibility of honesty. You couldn't be honest. The dishonesty was permanent. 3 months after winning, the account just sits there, growing slightly larger. You make approximately $16,000 per day in investment returns. You make more money while sleeping than you make at your job in a month. This fact is so surreal, you've stopped calculating it. You're walking through your life wearing a mask that looks exactly like your face. The people around you see the mask and believe they see you. No one notices the difference. No one can see the real you standing behind it. The real you doesn't exist in any conversation. The real you only exists when you're completely alone. You think about what the money could do. It could change everything. It could fix your sister's life. It could pay off your mother's house. It could give your best friend the business he's always talked about starting. It could solve the financial problems of everyone you love. It could remake your entire world into something better. But you can't tell anyone. The secret becomes more valuable than the money. The secrecy becomes the point. You could spend the money, but you can't spend it honestly. Every purchase would require a lie. Every gift would require an explanation you can't give. Every improvement to your life would be a question you couldn't answer. So you don't spend it. You sit on it. You watch it grow. You go to work every day and pretend to care about your job. You sit in meetings and pretend the projects matter. You listen to your coworkers complain about money and pretend you understand their problems. You maintain the performance. The performance has become your life. The real you is behind the mask now. The real you is someone else entirely. The real you has $597 million and can't tell anyone. The real you is free and completely imprisoned. You think about the lottery winners who told everyone. The ones whose faces appeared in the news. The ones who became celebrities for a day. The ones who got calls from relatives they hadn't spoken to in years. The ones who got investment proposals and business opportunities and requests for money. The ones who gave away millions and lost their friendships anyway, because money had changed the dynamic irreversibly. You kept the secret to avoid that. You kept the secret to maintain your life. You kept the secret to stay the person you always were. But you're not that person anymore. You're someone else. Someone who knows something everyone around you doesn't know. Someone living in a different reality from everyone you're close to. Someone who can see how fragile their lives are from where you're standing. Someone who could fix everything and chooses not to. Someone isolated by knowledge that can never be shared. There's a moment you'll have, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years, where you realize that the money has taken something from you that you can never get back. It wasn't the freedom you thought it was. The freedom came with a cost. The cost was connection. The cost was honesty. The cost was the ability to be fully known by another person. You can't tell your partner about it. You can't marry someone and keep this secret. You can't raise children with this lie hanging over everything. You can't build a life with anyone while living in a separate reality from them. The isolation isn't a temporary condition. It's permanent. It gets deeper every year. The money doesn't set you free. The secret imprisons you. The more money you have, the more trapped you become. Because the gap between the money you have and the money you can share with anyone grows exponentially. At some point, the gap becomes so large that relationship becomes impossible. You're not speaking the same language anymore. You're living in different universes. You think about telling someone. You dream about the possibility of just telling one person who could share the burden, one person who could know the real you. But you know that the moment you tell one person, you've broken the seal, the secret spreads, word gets out, the anonymity ends. The structure you built to protect yourself collapses. So you stay silent. You stay silent and you watch your life happen from behind the mask. You stay silent and you listen to people you love struggle with money you could give them. You stay silent and you go to work and pretend to care about projects that matter to you not at all. You stay silent and you become a ghost living among people who think they know you. The first thing the money took was your ability to tell the truth. The second thing it took was your sense of self. You don't know who you are anymore. You're the person at work, you're the person your friends see, you're the person your family knows. But you're not really any of those people. Those are masks. The real you is someone they've never met. You have $597 million, and you've never been more alone in your life. This is what no one tells you about winning. This is what the lottery doesn't advertise. Not the tax burden, not the investment strategy, not the financial planning. The thing no one tells you is that the money will make you invisible. The money will separate you from everyone you love. The money will put you in a world that no one you know lives in. And the isolation will become so complete that you won't be able to remember what it felt like to be known. The ticket sits in a safe deposit box in a bank you chose randomly. You haven't checked it since you claimed the money. You don't need to. The money is real whether the ticket is real or not. The money exists. The isolation exists. The performance exists. The mask exists. You walk into work on a Monday morning and your coworker says, "Hey, how was your weekend?" You say, "It was fine." And you mean it. Because fine is all you're allowed to feel now. Fine is the only emotion that doesn't require explanation. Fine is the default. Fine is what you say when you're lying. Fine is what you say when you're pretending. Fine is what you say when you're completely and utterly alone. The money doesn't change anything because the money can't change anything. The money can only isolate you further. The money can only make the distance between you and everyone you love grow larger and darker and more impossible to cross. You have everything and you have nothing. You're free and you're imprisoned. You're wealthy and you're bankrupt of everything that matters. This is your life after winning the lottery and telling no one. This is the freedom you thought you wanted. This is what $597 million actually costs.